Is it possible that the New England Patriots have found their new secret weapon? And I've been listening to different podcasts because I'm a sports junkie. And one of the things that I have seen over and over again, whether it's coming out of local news for the Patriots, whether it's on the national side, and if I'm being completely honest, a ton of people on the fantasy football side are all talking about the upside of Javon Baker, wide receiver, a reliable deep threat. Can that be his role as a rookie for the Patriots? Does he have the ability? Does he have the chops in order to be that deep threat that the Patriots so desperately need and have lacked? Now, this is a deep Patriots wide receiver room, but it is not top heavy. It is not top heavy. So it is not out of the question that Javon Baker could carve out a role as one of the team's two outside receivers early on into the season, or at least midway through the season, and hopefully develop that breakout deep threat ability as a rookie. So here's some things to know about Javon Baker. Here's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about, do I think he can actually become that playmaker? We're going to talk about his physical attributes and if he has it. What about the other receiver that they drafted 2 rounds earlier, Jalen Polk? Isn't he going to be that guy? I'll tell you why he's not that guy. Doesn't mean he's not good. It just means he's not that guy. All right, just stick with me for a second. And then we're going to look at the Patriots depth chart to determine if he actually is going to be able to carve out a role this year like I think everybody's hoping he can. Before we do that, let's talk about how this channel started. If you haven't seen it yet, this is not our first channel. We started with Sports Talk Detroit, but we love the NFL. Also, if you want more consistent Patriots coverage every single day, check out Sports Talk Patriots. We have Aaron over there doing a great job. Go give it a look right now. I'll try and link it in the bottom of this video if I remember when I put it up. Would love to do that for you guys and have you get over there and subscribe if you want Patriots content. He loves the Patriots, so go check that out. All right, so nobody came on the scene more intense than Javon Baker did. Right? Said it took too long to draft him, told people to bring your popcorn, a la T.O. He said, I make people in wheelchairs stand up. He doesn't care. It doesn't matter. He just wants people to know he can play football. Nobody believes in Javon Baker more than Javon Baker. He made that very clear when he was drafted in the 4th round. And what I like about this new coaching staff is instead of ignoring it, instead of scolding it, instead of whatever it might be, Jared Mayo very simply said, well, he better back it up. And they drafted him to back it up. Now, I understand they didn't draft him in the 2nd round, so his role, I think what they view him as being, is not that consistent pass-catching wide receiver, but rather a more big play threat, but you never know what he could become because of it. If you ask me, I think he's a very poor man's Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, whatever you want to call him, like depending on what name you want to call it. I don't hear me say that he is that, but when you look at his footwork, when you look at his athletic profile compared to what he looks like on the field, all of these things are very, very similar. So let's look first. Does he have the athletic profile to be a consistent deep threat? His RAS was a 7.84. He's got good size, he's got good explosion, and he's got good speed. This is not the kind of RAS that you're looking for when you're looking for a guy that is consistently going to beat people over the top. That it's not what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not that. But it does have the makings if you can utilize that body, utilize good footwork, and suddenness, and he does have suddenness in his routes, that it could absolutely be someone who could end up being a deep threat. Now, you look at the other receiver that they drafted, Jalen Polk, and what you're looking at is, I think the hope is that you have Baker as your deep threat and Polk as your consistent, good hands, good route running, good against zone, good against man. He can be that guy. Here's where I think things are very, very interesting. When you look at them side by side, Javon Baker, is better in almost every single category. And I think I can start to understand why he gets upset that he was selected so late, number 111 overall. According to PFF, he has a receiving grade of 84. All right, Jalen Polk, 76. Yards per route run is a remarkable 3.21. I mean, like, that's about as high as anybody in the country coming out of college. That's where your thought of can he be a good deep threat comes into play. He averaged a whopping 21.9 yards per reception. Jalen Polk, not bad, 75th percentile at 16.8 yards per reception and 2.29 yards per route run. Here's where the difference is. Jalen Polk's drop rate is 5.5%, whereas Baker's is at 10.3. That's really high. And that's why I think you look at him more as a big play guy, because he's not going to have that consistency. Contested catch, they're almost dead even. 54 for Polk, 56 for Baker. And then versus man coverage, Baker sits at 78.5, where Polk is at 74.3. So outside of drop rate, Baker, statistically speaking, is better in every category. And it's not like you can sit here and say that the Pac-12 was playing great defense while the Big 12 was playing garbage defense, all right? That's not how it worked. And Baker had great games against Villanova and Baylor and Kansas and Oklahoma and Cincinnati and Oklahoma State and Georgia Tech. Not terrible teams. These weren't terrible teams, and he's having really good games. So he's playing well against good competition. So do I think that he could be kind of a sneaky good receiver unexpectedly? I do. I really do. And I think there should be reason for optimism. And when you look at what's in front of him, all right, Douglas, he is better in the slot. Like, we know that. All right, Bourne can be good in the slot or outside, and Smith-Schuster is in the slot, period. I can see a world where both Polk and I really can see a world where both of them, all right, both Polk and Baker, find a way oftentimes into starting units. I really can. And Smith-Schuster is 26, 27, going on 36, 37. Like, it's unbelievable watching. I don't know what's going on with him, but, like, I wouldn't be quick to run him out there if I didn't have to. If these young guys can show they got something, let them show it. Let them be the guys that show it, all right? With Kendrick Bourne, I get it. You know what you get from him. You are going to get a good third wide receiver, and if that's what he can be, then let him be that, and then it's basically between Polk and Baker. So he can be a specialist. So that's where I'm at with this. You have an offensive line that's good enough. I think Brissett starts the year, but then Drake May ends up forcing his way in there. And I will say this, too, another kind of exciting thing, if you're a Patriots fan, during OTAs, minicamp, all that kind of stuff, after every single practice, Baker, May, and Polk went and threw passes for an additional 15 to 20 minutes. Very interested to see if that continues in training camp. Very interested to see if that continues in training camp. And if Baker continues the same kind of swagger that he has had. You need to have that sometimes as a wide receiver. That can be the difference between fading out of this league and becoming a big deal. I think he's got the skills. What do you think? Let me know. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next one.